Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Tip Tuesday. My name is Henry Arth. I'm a product manager here at IndySoft Corporation. And today, I want to show you an exciting feature in version 14 in and around the concept of the order system sub-statuses. Order system sub-statuses allow you to have a dedicated field to more accurately describe for your process what is actually going on with an estimate, order, or invoice. So I'm going to walk you through a little bit of how you would expose this option, how you can utilize it, and a few other bells and whistles that kind of revolve around this. Now, the first thing is sub-statuses are dependent upon both the order type, which means estimate, work order, or invoice, and the primary status. So the work order in particular is what we're going to talk about. You have an incomplete status, complete, invoiced, or canceled. Canceled is a newer one, but we couldn't really give you a way in the system without messing up current workflows to just add new statuses all over the place because there's a lot of automation between incomplete and complete. But really, a lot of folks who start using the software may ask themselves, okay, when we create a work order, this is incomplete, but what does that really mean, right? Incomplete, as far as the IndySoft concept, it really means that there is work that is to be performed that is not yet completed, and the overall status is incomplete. But there are other things that would honestly make a lot more sense for a commercial lab to see, right? So you've got, I created a work order. It's incomplete. Is it new? Is it needing to be scheduled because it's an on-site work order? Is it technically in progress because it's actually being worked? There are a lot of, real use cases that you can get out of this. And then you can look it up in your reporting and from your pending work and other places like that. So let's go ahead and just right-click in the header. And what we're going to do is we're going to add that sub-status field. So if you pull this over, I'm going to use this little slash that we gave you too, because it helps me organize a little better. And then the sub status, drop it right in there. Okay. Now, when you do this, you might not even see a sub status because if you don't have one populated, the cool thing is that we don't show it like it's a real thing in the header. So I'll kind of walk you through all of those different options. But to populate and tell your system what sub statuses are valid, you need to be able to go to your add edit down to your system-wide section here. And under order system lists, you'll actually have estimate substatuses, invoice, and work order substatuses. So the work order, I think, has the biggest use case because of the four that we actually have for you here. So you can see I can actually organize this by incomplete, invoiced, and canceled. And you're going to have various use cases here. But again, with the incomplete side, I want to see if it's an on-site, I want to see an awaiting scheduling if it's not scheduled yet. I'd like to see an in progress if it's actually in progress, or I'd like to know if it's on hold at the order and not have to necessarily look it up at the equipment level. So you can go in here and create these that make sense for your incomplete versus complete. And some other ideas here for complete might be awaiting invoicing or awaiting invoice. Customer signed, for example, or also in progress still, right? Maybe when you complete the work order and go from incomplete to complete, in progress still makes a lot of sense. IndySoft is not also going to automatically update your sub status just because it went from incomplete to complete. We're going to allow you to either accomplish that through custom scripting or through manually changing these items, okay? So once you have that in place, there's a couple different ways to populate this by default. Let's take the easier use case. In the order system, when I create a brand new work order, I now have an option over here in order system preferences, which we added in version 14, kind of removed it from the main system-wide preferences. And what you can see here is in the lower left-hand corner, we can have default sub-statuses. So a default work order sub-status, if you're creating it directly from the order system, right, you could then choose one of those incomplete options. So that could be new, it could be awaiting schedule, it could be on hold. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to go ahead and create that new sub status here. So not difficult to do. Go to incomplete, press add, and put in new. Cool. So we'll go back over to the order system, and we'll go back to our order system preferences, and we'll go ahead and default that to, okay? So that's pretty useful. So when you actually create a work order directly from the screen, one thing you're really going to notice is when you create this, you're going to see the work order, the company, and the sub status. So if you really wanted to say, hey, this is new, or this is awaiting scheduling, if you knew it was on-site versus in-house, for example, you might want to choose different sub-statuses in that moment. We allow you to choose one either way, but we can at least default something for you. So let's say it's an on-site one, and we're going to say awaiting scheduling, okay? I've actually got some custom rules behind the scenes, so don't worry about that. So we've got our incomplete, we've got our awaiting scheduling. From the pending work then, I can see work order 50 in here once I refresh it a little bit, and it's awaiting scheduling, so you can see it in there. It's a much more meaningful kind of status for you to be using here. Now, for a lot of folks, they actually use events, right, to populate and actually create their work orders and create their estimates. So we have another option here. It's not directly related to the substatus feature, but it will allow you to kind of do this yourself without maybe some custom scripting. So if you actually open up your workflow configuration and go to step 16 at the bottom of the screen, you actually can see now we have some transfer of information. So we can take a user defined field at the event level and push that over to the substatus field. So if you populate that with whatever status you want, you're probably going to want them to match from your event list over to the work order substatus for your incomplete status type. But once you get that, you can automatically populate a lot of these things from events as well. So I hope you find that useful. Certainly being able to get a little bit more information in a dedicated field for that purpose is really nice. And I hope you enjoy the feature and happy calibrating. Thanks.